What a pleasure. Hey, Bradley. Hi, Ruchika, Cecily, everybody. Great. And all of you.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just going to wait a few minutes to let people zoom in, so to speak, but feel free to use the chat. Maybe just say where you're calling in from so we get a sense of the locations and the community here. I actually did not know Jack was coming, so it's really nice that Jack is here.
Yeah.
He's one of our core team members, but he
Here.
weren't sure whether his schedule was going to allow. So we have Carl's, whoa, we've got a lot of people. Phoenix, Oakland, Australia, awesome. Sydney, Vancouver, wonderful. The Netherlands, awesome, wonderful Netherlands. Bay Area, super cool. This is wonderful. Cedar Rapids, San Diego, Santa Monica, awesome. Well, a big hearty welcome. I will introduce the members of the Wisdom Ventures team in a moment. It looks like most of us are here. Diego Perez, who kind of writes by the name of Young Pueblo, is on a 6-week meditation retreat at present, silent meditation retreat. So sadly, he can't join us, but I'm sure he's here in spirit. It's just so nice to see everybody. I don't know how you found out about us or where you come from, but it's so exciting to see all of your faces. And we're co-creating a vision together, and we're co-creating the next chapter, I think, of what technology and business can be. And we need all of you to be a part of that. You know, there's no way that a few people can kind of bring something into being. And so just deep gratitude for all of you for taking the time today, deep gratitude for your commitment to this cause, for kind of believing in this vision. Wisdom Ventures, kind of the seedling of it really started about a year ago, of just like, what if there was a fund where people could come to and get support and mentorship and resources to create a more mindful, wise, and compassionate world through business. And that profits are wonderful. We should make profits, but that's also not the primary goal is profits. The primary goal is impact. But in order to continue to have impact, profits are a wonderful thing to keep the impact going and to build teams and to create progress. So we really balance this thing around impact and profits and sustainability. And I can't be more excited at the incredible team that we have somehow brought together. And we're looking forward to getting to know you. So we're going to start today with a short meditation just to kind of help us center and help us like ground. We're going to break up into small groups so you guys can meet each other and talk to each other. And then we'll also introduce our team or have our team introduce themselves. And then the last 15 minutes or so, we'll just make ourselves available for whatever questions, whatever thoughts, whatever feedback you want for us. We'll just try to make ourselves available. And part of what we're really doing here is, while we'll fund certain groups and not other groups, we can't fund everybody, of course. We're also really inspired to create a community here. And it's not just about who gets funding or who doesn't get funding. It's about the community and about coming together and about sharing this vision and co-creating this vision. So thank you for being a part of that. And I don't know of any other venture capital company that, one, does meditations, and two, tries to create more community experiences. And so we're really excited to kind of pave our own path here. And I'm just really excited to see everybody. So Jack, do you want to lead us with a short meditation, or would you rather sit back? What is your sense?
I'm happy to do it.
Awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, just a few minutes of getting settled. If you would, let yourself find a way to sit that feels stable and comfortable and still. And if you are comfortable doing so, let your eyes close or at least lower your gaze. And first, just take 2 long breaths. And as you do, let go of whatever wants to be released. And now bring a mindful, loving awareness first to your own body, seated here in this moment in eternity. As if you could wrap your body with kindness and feel all the sensations, everything it's carrying. And how good it is just to pay attention and slow down and quiet and listen. And feel how your body breathes itself. Each breath interbreathing with the ocean of air and the breaths of all the other beings in this world who breathe the same air in and out with you. And relax into this trustworthy breathing and pulse of life. And with this deepening presence, sense how you can hold all the things that are here and now, the sensations and body experience, the feelings and thoughts, the joys and sorrows of life with spaciousness and ease. With a wise and tender heart. Calm, steady, spacious. And know that this is your home. This is who you really are. This steady, wise, loving awareness. You can always return to it. Now let your eyes open gently, keeping the spirit of loving, mindful, loving awareness, even as you do.
Thank you so much, Jack. So my name is Soren, and I'll be introducing, or I'll be passing on the mic here to our team to introduce themselves. And just a quick note. So part of, as my son would continue to remind me, Dad, you have no idea how to create a wisdom venture fund. You have no idea how to create a venture fund. He's 19. Like, there's capital and it's here and it just needs to move over there. Like, how hard can it be? It turns out there's a lot of other pieces to it. And this team has been kind of coming together, bringing forth the vision, cultivating the vision. And so I'd love for you to, we'll introduce each other in a moment. But just to give you a sense of where we're at currently. So our real effort has been building the team, getting the vision, getting our deck together, kind of being able to share what it is that matters to us and why it matters to us. And then gathering well-meaning visionary capital from people who believe in that vision. And then at some point, we'll be dispersing that capital through, hopefully, to some amazing organizations who want to create businesses and technology. We're still in the capital raising campaign, so we're not in a time now where we're ready to support through checks and through other things. But we don't want to wait. We want to continue to connect with you. We want to learn from you. And as we continue to raise the capital, at some point, we'll then be ready to kind of move forward in that other phase. But I just wanted people to understand we're still kind of cultivating this vision. And I think it's really Ruchika who's like, well, we shouldn't wait to learn from people. We should build a community as it's all happening. So that's what we're doing. We're building the community, we're raising funds, and we're looking forward to all the steps. But at some point, there'll be the investing in certain companies. And of course, we're not going to be able to invest in everybody. There'll only be, a certain amount, but we want to build this community. And so thank you so much for joining us. Jack, maybe you want to start? I'm looking at you first on the screen, and then we can just kind of say a few words about each of us. Let's see, Jack.
Thank you. Hi, I'm really thrilled to be part of Wisdom Ventures. I've been a colleague and collaborator with Soren on many other projects, and with Bradley too now, and it's a fantastic team. I'm a psychologist and meditation teacher and author for forever, for a really long time. And one of the things that's interested me is right livelihood, because we're not monks and nuns. But I believe in modern time, there's a longing from our hearts to live a really conscious and deliberate and compassionate life for ourselves and family, community, and the world. And part of that means, how do we engage in the world of livelihood? So this really interests me. And already we've heard from a number of entrepreneurs around the world doing really exciting things. It's unclear how many will get to fund. We're hoping to close the first round of money coming in the next month or two through the end of March, and then maybe begin to select and support ventures. The whole process actually is, so far, has been quite uplifting when you hear all the cool things that people are trying to do. So I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Do you want to pass the mic to anybody on the team that you noticed?
Bradley, pass it to Bradley.
Thank you, Jack and Soren. I am the newest member of the Wisdom Ventures team, and I am a longtime tech executive. I've spent the last 14 years at Google and then Yahoo before that. And then before that was an entrepreneur and did my own company, and have been a meditator and a seeker all along the journey. And as Jack said, it's just really special to sort of bring these two halves of myself and parts of my life together. The greatest joy I get is in facilitating someone else's success. When I see an introduction that I made, or something that was really easeful and simple for me to just blossom into a great outcome for someone. And I feel like this is institutionalizing that opportunity, that we're going to have resource over here. And as Soren said, it's as simple as redistributing that capital over there and trying to make wise decisions in harmony with our wisdom moniker. And when that magic happens, wonderful things can blossom. And already, as Jack said, it's been inspiring and amazing to see the convening and the ideas that are coming in front of us. And I couldn't be more excited about the opportunity or grateful to be part of this. So thank you all. And I will pass the mic to Cecily.
Thank you, Bradley and Jack and Soren, and hello, everybody. It's wonderful to see all of you on this call. My name is Cecily Mack. I've been with this team and on this journey from the beginning, and I actually share a lot of common threads with words, Bradley, that you just shared about being a longtime practitioner and seeker. I'm actually a native of Marin County and recall first encountering Jack and his work as a teenager at Spirit Rock in the 90s. So this feels like a wonderful full circle of life. My career has been largely working within startups. So I was actually an attorney first, and I have been a licensed lawyer for over 20 years. But the last 17 or 18 or so have been embedded within startups, some as small as 10 people, some as big as 1,500. And I've held both legal and operational and also revenue leadership roles. But some of my greatest joy in these positions, and then the things that I've done outside of my full-time job, has been actually one-to-one work with founders or very small founding teams, and helping them tune their message and make sure that they're accurately reflecting why their heart and soul and life are as committed to the work that they're doing. Founding a company and building it from scratch is really quite an exercise and requires enormous commitment. And so I really love that part of my work and doing some angel investing along the way. So this opportunity to work with this team and many of you and kind of blending those two areas of life is just a great privilege and joy. And I'm very excited to be co-creating and building with you all. And I'll pass it to Ruchika.
Thank you, Soren, Cecily, Bradley, Jack, and everybody for joining us. I know so many of us have met one-on-one in the Founders Meet and Greet as well. Karen, Nina, Austin, thank you for joining and staying part of the community, and many more that I can't see in the first screen. I'm Ruchika, and very humbled and grateful to be working on this initiative with the team you see here. I was at Google for 15 years up until last year, and learned mindfulness, inner transformation skills, and also was given an opportunity to establish those programs called Search Inside Yourself, GPAUSE, and created a culture of mindfulness and compassion at Google, along with cultivating a community, which is what actually draws me most to this work. And I'm so fulfilled seeing you all on the screen today, that this extends beyond our frame of working in a company or being in a part of sub-community. We had like 450 Googlers supporting mindfulness and compassion learning at Google by the time I left. And that was a great journey of 10 years. I am holding the space for supporting the operations for Wisdom Ventures and also enabling founders to come to us, tell us their story along with the team. And as Jack said, we are hoping to close our initial fund in the next couple of months and enable funding to be available to some creative, great ideas that's going to have very positive impact on the world. So thank you for being with us here. Soren, I'll pass it back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. And so any community involves people. And so as part of our dance, of course, as people have mentioned, it's both raising the capital and then distributing the capital. But beyond capital and all that stuff is the field or the community that's emergent, and that the wisdom is really not in so much in individuals, it's in the community and it's in the field. So just to support us learning from one another and connecting one another, we'd love to break people up into groups, and we will join those groups as Zoom decides which group we should join. We'll break people up into groups of about 4, and we just love for you to introduce yourselves and just tell what brought you here. What is your vision of wisdom integrated with technology and business? What inspires you in this area? And then we'll bring all of you back after about 12 minutes, and then the team here will just be available for whatever thoughts, questions, insights that might want to emerge. So that's the plan. So I'm going to go here to groups, and you're going to get a prompt. Probably everybody has done this now in Zoom, but you'll get a prompt that says the organizer is asking you to join this group or that group, and just click yes to that, and you will see some other people, and we'll be back here in about 12 minutes. So here we all right, so now this is saying, so there's 117 of us, and it says, how many breakout groups do I want to create? Guess I want to create 22. Does that sound about right? No.
30?
30, there we go. Okay, thank you, math people. I never did well in math. I was like, never. All right, here we go. It's like we have 21 seconds left for people. So cool to see all the places that people are zooming in from today. Really amazing to see the wide swath of people from different places. So my name is Soren. I don't think I might have forgot to introduce myself, but I mainly keep myself busy with projects around the intersection of mindfulness, wisdom, compassion, and technology. I host an event called Wisdom 2.0, and just am involved in all kinds of projects of various kinds around that topic. So welcome back. So now we're just going to make ourselves available. If you have a question, you can direct it to one of us. I really want to know what Jack thinks of capitalism, for example, or you could just kind of open up the questions to be whatever you want there to be. And the 5 of us here will kind of take turns expressing whatever answer seems relevant. But we just want to make ourselves available to you all as we co-create this journey together and embark on this journey together. There was a question on how in the chat about if there's people that you know that you would, or if you want to invest or somebody you know want to invest, you can reach out to us through our website. So just that's a simple answer to that question. So I'll just start pinging people. There's a reaction button at the bottom, and there's a place to raise your hand. And I'm seeing you, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Gauri. Welcome.
Gauri.
Gauri, okay.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Gauri Saluja. I'm an Indian. I'm a psychology student. And what brought me here was this innate need and desire to share and express some insights that as a business owner, as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur, that brought me here to share some of that. And a question that I had from the entire from the breakout room session was that when it comes to introducing people to meditation, and enhancing their levels of perception and bringing, so I'm going to speak on behalf of myself. My business is about helping people balance their yin and yang per se, their inner Shiva and inner Shakti, your inner feminine and inner masculine energies. It's about bringing that harmony, that sense of alignment and attunement to the universe so that we create miracles together. That is what my idea and philosophy is of my business. So my question is, number one, when you started off with this venture, how did you get people to tag along? Because how did you create this? It's a very practical question, but it may sound very silly to a lot of people here, but how did you get this set up, and how did you reach out to different people from different parts of the world? Where did you get these influx of contacts from? Because that's my question. That's something that sounds really basic, but I have everything else apart from this, and this is what holds me back the most. So yeah, that's my question.
That's really sweet. Anybody want to jump into that one? I just briefly say we're fortunate that we came together. There's, I think, about 6 of us now, and we all have networks that we've developed just through teaching and being involved and doing business. And so when we announced it through all of our networks. But if you don't have anybody, or you have very few people it's very hard. But one of our team members, Diego Perez, Young Pueblo, he started on Instagram, I think 4 years ago, with 0 followers. And he just built his own community through that and has a couple million now. So I do think there is a path of consistency that works. But somebody else, feel free to jump in, Jack or Cecily or Richika or Bradley. Cool, I hope that helps. Hang in there. And it's always everything is one step at a time. So I'm just gonna move on because I see more hands here. Graham?
Sure. Hey. Hey everyone, I'm Graham Chapman. I just left being a product lead at Headspace to found a company focusing on personal transformation at scale. And my question is kind of just around Wisdom Ventures and how it's diverging from the traditional VC model. It's optimizing for return. And if you're not just optimizing for return, I'm just curious what the other decision-making criteria are, and just kind of, I don't know, from a founder perspective, but also just really curious, how do you quantify the impact and how you're looking at that?
Another great question. And maybe we could reconsider the language in a way, because you point to it so beautifully, that we're not simply interested in quantifying the return. A traditional fund is how do we maximize our growth? And we have other criteria, which include that the companies share our values, both ethical values and values of benefit to humanity and compassion, that they have a team that works together in a collective way that's respectful and supportive, that they have some consciousness of of the diversity of the world in some way, and how we include people rather than exclude them, whether it's in economic justice or racial justice or those things. Not that that's their sole goal, but that those are also incorporated, and that we want to make money for the people who invest, but we want to make it in a way that also uplifts both the companies and the people who they serve, and in that way build our fund. And somehow those two need to go together as right livelihood.
Wonderful. So jump in. Yeah, go ahead, Cecily.
I'm happy to just add to that. Jack, I love what you just said, and I'll add on just another layer. So often venture funds assess performance of startups within our portfolio on 3 pillars of execution. It's how's the team doing, how's engagement with the product, and how's revenue. And that's kind of it. That's what often they really want to see almost exclusively on a quarterly basis. And one thing we've talked a lot about as a team and as a partnership from the beginning is this notion of a 4th pillar, which is actual trueness to mission, execution on vision of impact. And we hope that to the extent that we can call on our founders and our teams who are reporting back with us on their performance and success throughout the journey of our time together, we will be able to reinforce our support for that 4th pillar. It may not have a number attached to it or a dollar sign next to it, but if we're encouraging through our work and that of the advisor group that we're able to bring to the table, that they stay true to the mission and true to the purpose and the values that made us compatible in the first place, that will encourage continued expansion and growth within a world that may not otherwise support just those core KPIs. And there are going to be some startups that maybe don't have that conviction of that 4th pillar of purposefulness. And we can very easily say to them, you know, there are wonderful VCs out there that you can go have invest in you. We're actually looking for a subset that has something that's less supported that we really feel like intensely leaning in on partnership wise as an investor.
I'm just going to move through. Oh, go ahead, Bradley, please.
I loved a word that Cecily said, impact. And when I think of what success looks like for this effort, you mentioned you were at Headspace, and the work that they have done to sort of normalize mindfulness and make it accessible to everyone at scale is something I think is part of what we want to do, not only to serve those on this call, but to really take what we're doing and make it accessible to everyone at scale. And that's one of the more fun things about working at Google. There's a lot of zeros, not only in the financial side of things, but we touch literally billions of people. And the opportunity to reach people at scale with things that are actually healthy, good for them, promote wellness and mindfulness, like that gets me out of bed in the morning and makes me excited about the opportunity to fund entrepreneurs who want to take what they have to offer and bring it to everyone.
Beautiful, thanks. I'm going to keep, there's no order here. I just see somebody on the screen. And so I'm seeing you next, Ricky. So.
Okay, thank you, Soren. Hi, everyone. This is really cool to be on this call, as was the first one. And actually, I think Ruchika just kind of touched on it in the chat, but I was going to ask, I just feel like there's so much powerful energy behind this thing that you all are creating. And I'm wondering if you have brainstormed ways to kind of cultivate the community and really usher the new waters in, aside from the actual investing that you're going to be doing. And that can be for anyone.
I can take that.
Go ahead, Ruchika, please.
Yeah, Ricky, thank you for joining us again. And also we met one-on-one to discuss this. Thank you for your continued passion on community development. And that's mine too, you know that. And you're right, like, we're just getting started and prioritizing a few things, getting the fund in place, operationalizing, putting all the legal paperwork, meeting and greeting all the founders. And community, this is like our first attempt to gather the community. And it's so great to hear that this is a great forum for all of you and you want more of it. And Ricky, particularly, you've also volunteered to help us out with it. So I'll ping you and, connect on how we can enable that. Some of the things we're seeing, like when we meet with the founders, is that you all have a lot to give to each other. So once we complete a few set of meetings, we may actually enable more founders club or gatherings where people can find each other and co-create. If you're great at certain practices and the other person is great at like technology, building the technology, how can you all meet? So we're thinking of ways, and if you have ideas, I'll type in an email address and you can ping us on that and share those ideas with us on how we can advance community work together.
Thank you so much, Ruchika. Jose, I'm seeing you next on the screen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for this space. And I will start to thank you and expressing my gratitude because I truly see coherence with Wisdom Ventures, because a lot of venture capital firms ask for the companies to have a purpose, but I don't see many venture capitals that have a truly purpose and higher purpose than raising the money. And I just want to briefly tell you what I do and what I'm building. So can anyone who feels free to email me and collaborate, that will be great. That I can do that.
If you can do it briefly? We have about 8 more hands up. So
briefly.
yeah.
We basically build the Netflix of understanding and exploring the being, because our education system and our family is based on having and doing, and also adding the emotional health, physical health, and mental health as a platform for micro habits and micro learning. And we specifically focus on Spanish content because, as you know, in Latin America, we lack a lot of English like content. I mean, we have a lot of English content, but less than 20% of Latin Americans speak fluent English that can understand. We can barely understand Fast and Furious 5 in English. Imagine understanding, exploring yourself in English. That's super hard. And yeah, I just want to,
Beautiful.
I will leave my email. So if anyone is working in the Latin American approach, I'm free to collaborate.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm seeing Vlad next.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Let me change the view here. Yeah, I don't know if I really had a question, but I just want to have an opportunity just to say hi to everyone. And I guess I was finding myself kind of touched just by the sincerity of the purpose of the wisdom team here and the people that I'm meeting here today. And
Thank you.
yeah, appreciating that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's always there's the most important thing often, I think, is the energy that we're creating together. And is it collaborative, and is it loving, is it spacious, and knowing that if we create the right environment, wonderful things can happen from that environment. So I appreciate the reminder to that. Shaidea.
Hello. Hi. Yes, you said it right. Hi, everyone. My name is Shaidea. I'm the founder and CEO of Black Girl Magic, which is a wellness brand empowering Black women to awaken the healer within. My question is more so around the inspiration of past Sunday. I had a digital conference called Medicine People Conference, and it was in honor of my teacher, Maladoma Somé, where people from all over the world shared their medicine. And I've been thinking a lot about like the type of work that I want to do, and it's specifically a big focus on ancestral connection and healing. And I just want to know, is that something that you all are considering in the companies that you are looking for? Because I feel like that is not something that is more mainstream discussed within wellness. So yeah, that's my question.
Jack, do you want to speak to that? You know Maladoma, or knew Maladoma?
Yeah, I want to answer. First of all, I think that what you're looking to is beautiful medicine. And that when we understand that there is it's not just us, but it's this huge stream of ancestors, and that we can draw on that in different ways in our life for healing, tremendously powerful. And there are all kinds of rituals and practices in that way. And then I've been attending on Zoom the cremation of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, which happened over these last days, and it was extremely moving. And then he says, you know, they read some of his writings in his kind of death poem. And he said, if someone tells you I died, it's not true. I have not. just as a cloud becomes rain or snow and then goes into the rivers and back to the ocean to become a cloud again, I can never die. I am part of you, you are part of me. And there's this profound and inspiring wisdom that we need on the earth, and turning back to draw on our ancestral wisdom is a part of it. So if it's if your company model seems like, right, the idea and the vision is gorgeous, and then we're looking at, all right, how are you going to make this into something that actually serves people and goes well? So yes, we're open and interested and deeply appreciative.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and just a quick note, we honor the value of philanthropy and support and community support. Like that's a huge, huge important thing in our life to give without expecting returns. And it also seems really important to create a wisdom-based venture, because if we're going to create a more thoughtful, wise, Instagram, for example, most likely that's going to be a venture funded endeavor. So we just also value the importance of both the venture, but also philanthropy, and everything has a place. So thank you for bringing it up.
Ancestogram, I think we call it.
Partap.
Hi there. Thanks again for organizing this. I've found it quite inspiring. For a bit of context, I've meditated my whole life, but I've always seen that as like kind of a separate entity to my work life. I've worked in impact investing. Now I work in tech, like strategy at Snapchat. My question is actually for Bradley. How can tech companies serve the greater good while actually also running a business, like without mixing the two? Because I found personally, like even with meditation apps, and I love Headspace, I've told all my friends, but when you put money on something that's inherently, like peace of mind should be free for every single human being. So how do you kind of mix these two entities?
I'm so glad you asked that, because I have the answer and I'm about to reveal it to you all. No, I'm not sure I have the answer, but I think it's the right question. And I'm super happy that organizations like the Center for Humane Technology, which we are fans of and supporters of, are taking that question seriously and thinking about the responsibility of tech companies to do much better than they have been. I completely agree that money and capitalism completely clouds the ability of companies to do that and create these tensions. But I do think one thing that's important is that people within tech companies are also part of this community and need to be welcomed and embraced. And there are people like Ruchika who spent the last 15 years at Google transforming Google from the inside. And I think it starts with the people there. These companies consist of people. And to the degree that their hearts are open, their minds are open, their actions represent their values, they're going to do a better job of aligning toward the things that we all want to do. Although the track record is bad, I do see motion inside of these companies and interest from the people within these companies to address that and do a better job. So I definitely don't have an answer to your question, but I share the question and I want to help do the work and be part of the solution. And I think in some ways, this can have an impact in that regard as well, partly by leading by example, by showing that apps that actually create wellness and good outcomes for people can also be sustainable businesses. I think that that's important to lead by example. And also to a degree, companies like Apple and Google have made steps in the right direction, things like monitoring your own screen time, health and wellness apps that Apple is doing. These are gentle first steps that I think lead toward better, sort of like nutritional labels on, doesn't make you eat better, maybe just increases guilt, but it is a step in the right direction toward creating more healthy relationship with technology. So I think Wisdom Venture shares your concern, and we'll do what we can from the seat that we occupy to forward that cause.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pratap. Best of luck. I'm seeing Michael next. Let's see. Looks like you'll get a little prompt to unmute. There you go, Michael. You're with us.
Great. Hi. Yeah, that was actually a great segue into mine. So my name is Michael Goldstrom, and I'm the founder of Get Motivated Buddies, which is a platform for social behavior change. And along those identical lines, I actually just completed the Columbia Venture Community Impact Program, which is their inaugural cohort. And one thing I also run the Center for Humane Technology LA local, so that was great timing. But one thing I noticed in that cohort working on impact companies is the lack of consistent metrics for measuring impact. And I'm very interested to see how you move forward with judging companies according to impact and what metrics you use. And as you move forward, this is something I'm just very interested to either be a part of or hear, or because what I've seen is that when it comes to investing in general, there just seems to be a lack of an ability to judge, what works, what doesn't work, especially when we start talking about things at scale. So yeah, so I'm obviously very excited to be here. Yeah, for that.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think we do the best we can. We're not going to be perfect. Every company we do is going to have unexpected things that happen to us. Sometimes I think of like the Buddha or Jesus, if they came back and saw the expression of what they intended some 2,000 years ago, I'd be like, what is this? But we can do our best. And I think a lot happens with intention. And so we appreciate your thoughts, ideas. And we also feel like we can't not address this. Like we have to show up as best we can, knowing we're not perfect. And kind of like Ed Bradley said, do what we can from the seat we have. And think not just about us, our children, but our children's children. Like, what are they going to be using? What technology is going to be a part of their world? And can we instill and inspire a consciousness question around that? So we're partly here to enforce that vision or express that vision. Anybody else on that before we move? Okay, Laura, I'm seeing you. So go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Soren. And it's so lovely to be here. This is my first time in the community. So thank you all for gathering us and cultivating something that feels so important. So I'm Laura, I'm in Oakland. I'm the founder and CEO of Awake Teams. We're just in market. The product's just launched, first customers, creating compassionate workplaces. That's not my tagline, but that's what we're up to through cultivating better interpersonal relating. And my question is, Cecily, it's also about the impact. So that fourth point, you did name the 3 metrics, like that VCs measure these and that you won't forget those, and that you'll add this 4th, like trueness to vision. And I'm wondering how you all will support founders in that. So I guess 2 questions. When the companies you invest in, will you co-invest? And then if you're co-investing with people who are more traditional VCs, like what kind of supports will you have in place for those founders who you really want them to stay true to their vision, to the vision?
Yeah, I'm happy to take the first pass at that, at least. Wonderful to meet you, Laura. Congratulations. Sounds like an exciting time for you. We will be co-investing. In fact, for our first fund, we have an intention to probably not lead, but we do want to be wonderful partners to founders. And we anticipate being able to support in a variety of ways. One is actually treating it more like a relationship and a partnership than just signing off on a check, dropping it into their coffers and having some mysterious presence on a cap table. We actually would like to be much more available. And that's the group of us as partners within the fund, but also we're building a very precious advisory network. So there are a lot of wonderful, successful founders and people who've had some notoriety within this field, and then also some remarkable teachers who are just within our own circles who have time and energy to offer to startups and founders and teams that are trying to build something positive in the world. And so our hope is that through regular meetings like this, probably at least one annual gathering, making a set of very just precious humans available as advisors to directly participate within founders, this is going to help us be set apart. And I also just want to note, you also asked about co-investing. I actually misunderstood your question at first, I believe, but it's a good opportunity to note that we are all each also personally investing within the fund. So we actually are along the ride with the other sources of capital. And we want our founders to feel a sense of kind of connection and pride in having the Wisdom Ventures among their set of supporters over time. it is an unusual kind of area of orientation that we bring, unusual priorities, and we really, we do want to stay ourselves true to our mission as well, and kind of live up to our own voice and message on our purposefulness here too.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all. So we've reached that time. Did anybody else want to add, Bradley?
I just wanted to add that since you're in Oakland, there's a pair of mentors of mine, Mitch and Frida Kapor-Klein, who you may know, who run the Kapor Center. They are stellar investors. They've invested in, decacorn companies like Twilio, Uber, and they ask founders to sign a founder's pledge. And any money that comes in after them, they're sort of advertising on their sleeve the terms around what it means to be part of their portfolio. So they're examples of people that I greatly respect and have tremendous impact. And I should probably say, I mentioned Uber, which we don't necessarily think of as the most ethical company. Mitch and Frida were the first investors to sign, to basically call them to task and put forward a public letter that basically said this company's in need of reform. So that one sort of slipped out away from them. But we're learning from examples, and any suggestions you have of how to operate within the framework, because we can't carry all of these companies all the way through to their, Series E financing before the IPO. But do it in a way that signals that this is a different kind of capitalism and a different kind of outcome that we're going for. Any suggestions, examples that you have are most welcome.
Great, thanks.
I'd like to add to what...
I'm sorry, we have to end. I'm sorry, we're at a time. I'm sorry, I know there's like 4 or 5 people with their hands straight up, but we promised everybody we'd end at time. But it's been wonderful to see everybody. Thank you. We'll do more of these. Apologies, we couldn't get to everybody who had their hands raised today. If you want to unmute yourself, you can unmute yourself and you can say some goodbyes and wishes. So I think everybody has your goodbye. Thank you so much for coming, attending.
Everyone.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you.
Soren, bye, Jack.
everybody.
Bye. Good to see you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.